You have the right claiming the DOJ is biased for Hunter because of his dad, and Hunter's lawyers arguing that the DOJ is biased against him because of his dad. But isn't it possible, maybe even likely, that they're both wrong? That Hunter Biden's prosecution is not being decided by Joe Biden personally. There's nothing to indicate that Biden is controlling either. If he were actually pulling the strings, wouldn't he figure out how to get his son off the hook on charges that could put him in prison for decades? There's no way he's happy to have his son on trial, much less weeks before Election Day. But neither he nor his Department of Justice get any credit for allowing the case to proceed full steam ahead. We always like to have multiple perspectives on this show, so joining us now is May Mailman, former legal advisor to President Donald Trump. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. All right, what do you think I'm getting wrong here?
Well, Dan, I guess you forget why we are here. The Biden Justice Department, so Main Justice, didn't want this case to move forward at all, right? It is the sweetheart deal that blew up because there were two whistleblowers who said that the Department of Justice political officials were meddling with the rank and file officials being able to do their job. They said you can't investigate certain things. They dead-ended the IRS in multiple ways. And then you had Main Justice presumably approve this sweetheart deal that the judge said, I've never seen anything like this. So now they tossed it to the rank and file. And yeah, the rank and file are being prosecutors. That's what prosecutors do.
The judge never said that the case was going away because it was a sweetheart deal, right? The judge said the case couldn't move forward because there didn't seem to be an agreement on exactly what the deal was with regard to the future. But let me ask you this, because you keep referring to Main Justice, right? So that would suggest that the special counsel, a lifelong Republican named David Weiss, has been lying, right? I mean, you have to believe that he is lying when he says, I am and have been the decision maker on this case. I do not make these decisions in a vacuum. I'm bound by federal law. At no time was I blocked or otherwise prevented from pursuing charges or taking the steps necessary in the investigation by other United States attorneys, the tax division, or anyone else at the Department of Justice. So he's lying, right?
So I would say that that might not be a lie. It just softens what's happening because clearly, in my opinion, there's a desire from Merrick Garland or whoever is making decision at the Department of Justice that they wanted there to be a plea deal here, that they wanted tax to be the focus and not Foreign Agent Restoration Act. And yes, David Weiss can make the decisions, but he knows what he's supposed to do. And that's the way the Department of Justice works.
So he quietly knows he's got to. This is a guy who was appointed by Trump. He's a lifelong Republican who wants to suck up to Biden.
It's not suck up to Biden. This is what we call deep statery, right?
Oh, God. Come on.
that there's no incentive for people who are in bureaucracies to stick their necks out, right? There's only an incentive to follow the political leadership of the time or follow, sort of what the general mood is. And that's something that if you talk to FBI agents, if you talk to line prosecutors, they will say, if you really do want to keep your job, you stay in line.
But again, that means, again, Chris Wray, also lifelong Republican, who is the head of the FBI, who every time he gets asked this question says, I have no idea why people from the right keep accusing me of this. He's also, I don't know, softening it to not really tell the truth about the decisions he's making?
I mean, I have a lot of questions about the FBI right now about using deadly force at Mar-a-Lago.
They used deadly force when they did the Biden classified document search too, right? Even that's a nonsense argument. That's the standard protocol that they use in every search. They used it in the search of Biden's classified documents and Trump. So come on, that one is not a particularly powerful argument.
Raiding the former president's home is remarkable.
When he's not
and
there.
Deadly force or not, it is remarkable. And so, I would say that for Chris Wray, for any of these, quote unquote Republicans, of course, you're not actually supposed to be a Republican. You're supposed to just be doing justice in the Justice Department. But yeah, I think that once you're in a bureaucracy for too long, your loyalty becomes to the system and not to the people. I just think that's where the incentives are.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.